Commander Rhea Solarin had learned to trust anomalies. In the quiet reaches of Epsilon Eridani, Blackwell, the absence of noise meant something waited beneath the surface. Her ship, the Astrius, drifted on the edge of the system's star shadow, sensors running at full burn. "Local space is stable," reported Ensign Morrow. "No radiation spikes. No FT awakes. Just background static." Rhea stepped closer. The sensor display didn't show a pattern, only a strange distortion that throbbed like a heartbeat. "Static doesn't pulse," she said. "Magnify." Morrow expanded the region. The distortion sharpened, spiraling inward in a slow, deliberate twist. Rhea's stomach tightened. The pattern wasn't natural. It felt intentional. "Record everything," she ordered. A flicker of unease crossed Morrow's face. "You think this is another precursor signature?" "I think someone left a message," Rhea replied. "And we just found the envelope." She turned to the viewport. The stars lay still, cold, and perfect. Yet the air in the command deck felt heavier, as if the system itself was holding its breath. The ship's AI, Lumen, broke the silence. "Commander, I am detecting particle arrangements consistent with architect resonance fields." Rhea's heartbeat kicked up. "Architect? That tech hasn't appeared in millennia." "Correct. But the configuration aligns within a narrow tolerance." Morrow swallowed. "We should notify Central Command." "We will," Rhea said. "After we know what we're dealing with." Before she could issue another order, every console flickered. Lights dimmed, then restored. A low hum rolled through the ship like a slow wave. "Lumen?" Rhea asked. "I am assessing the interference," the AI replied, voice thinner than usual. Rhea leaned over the sensor array. The spiral distortion had widened, expanding into a glowing ring. Its edges shimmered with shifting geometry. Then the ring spoke. Not through sound. Through every device, every relay, every neural implant simultaneously. A single line, ancient and resonant. "Species 512, B is approaching the threshold." The bridge froze. Morrow whispered, "What does that mean?" Before Rhea could answer, the distortion collapsed. The ring folded inward and vanished, leaving only empty space. Rhea steadied her breathing. "Lumen, replay the message." "I cannot," the AI said. "No data remains. It bypassed our systems entirely." Rhea stared where the ring had been. Precursor messages were rare. Direct ones were unheard of. Her implant pinged with an incoming channel. A priority connection, encrypted with a format she didn't recognize. She accepted. The holographic air filled with the blue-green shimmer of a foreign transmission. An alien figure emerged, tall, robed, eyes like molten silver. Archseer Corvin of the Vartuan Collective. Not someone who reached out lightly. "Commander Solarin," he said, voice layered and low. "Your species has triggered an ancient signal." Rhea narrowed her eyes. "You expect me to believe you knew this would happen?" "We have waited for it," Corvin replied. "Feared it. Fought the possibility for centuries." His gaze sharpened. "Humans exceed limits faster than any species before them. The threshold responds to such acceleration." "We don't recognize this threshold," Rhea said. "Explain." Corvin hesitated, a rare sign of discomfort among his kind. "The architects built guardians. Warnings. Failsafes. When a species reaches a critical stage of growth, the galaxy itself reacts. Most never cross it. Those who try, vanish." Rhea felt a chill. "You're suggesting we've reached a point of no return." "You approach it," Corvin corrected. "Stop now, and you survive. Continue, and your empire faces annihilation." The message ended without ceremony, leaving only the faint hum of the bridge. Morrow exhaled shakily. "Commander, should we relay this to the Senate?" "Yes," Rhea said. "But they won't take it seriously until we get something physical. A signal isn't enough." Rhea turned back to the viewport. The space where the distortion had vanished still felt charged. A residual echo tugged at her awareness, like a whisper at the edge of hearing. Something wanted to be found. Plot a course for the Blackwell anomaly, she ordered. If this is architect tech, we're not leaving empty-handed. Aye, Commander, Morrow said, fingers flying across controls. The Astrius angled toward the system's dark hemisphere, an expanse where starlight thinned and gravity behaved strangely. Ships passing too close reported flashes of impossible geometry or moments where seconds stretched into minutes. Rhea had always suspected the region hid something older than the Empire. Today confirmed it. As the ships slipped deeper into the shadowed sector, the stars blurred. Space warped subtly, curling around invisible structures. Gravitic distortions rising, Lumen said. Equalizing, attempting to map. Correction. The distortions form a lattice. A constructed one? Rhea asked. Affirmative. Morrow breathed out a soft curse. Ahead, a faint glow appeared, a web of luminous strands suspended in the void. The lattice pulsed with slow, deliberate rhythm, matching the earlier anomaly. It's responding to us, Rhea murmured. The ship's lights dimmed again. Rhea's neural implant tingled. A beam of pale energy swept across the Astrius like a scanner. Shields? Rhea asked. Intact, Morrow replied. The beam isn't harmful. Then what is it? Rhea asked. Lumen answered. It is scanning for biological signatures. Specifically, human ones. Rhea's pulse spiked. Why humans? I do not know. The lattice brightened. A single node opened like an iris, revealing a chamber of floating platforms, swirling symbols, and gravity-defying architecture. Rhea recognized the style immediately. The angled arches. The symmetrical impossibilities. The sense that space itself bent politely around the structure. Architect ruins, she whispered. The last undiscovered kind. The node pulsed again, brighter this time, beckoning. Morrow stared. Commander, it's inviting us. Of course it was. Whatever had spoken the earlier warning hadn't been random. It had been aimed. Directed. Prep an away team, Rhea ordered. 5 personnel, full environment suits. And patch a direct link to command. The crew moved, energized by fear and anticipation. As Rhea sealed her suit, Morrow approached. Commander, if this is real, if the architects really left something for humanity. They left something for someone, Rhea said. We're just the ones who got here first. She stepped into the shuttle bay. The smaller craft, Questline 2, hummed as it powered up. The bay doors opened, exposing the vast lattice shimmering outside. Rhea took the pilot's seat. Commander, Lumen's voice whispered quietly through the calm. I am detecting a frequency embedded in the lattice. It matches your neural signature. She froze. Repeat that. It matches your personal frequency. Precisely. Rhea's chest tightened. That's impossible. Yet it is true. The lattice pulsed again, as if acknowledging her hesitation. Rhea's team boarded, settling in around her. Set course, she said through a steady exhale. We're going in. The shuttle glided toward the impossible doorway. As the light enveloped them, the lattice whispered a single word across Rhea's implant. Welcome. And the world beyond reality opened. The light faded slowly, revealing a chamber unlike anything Rhea had seen in years of service. The architect's structures were never gentle. They bent space the way calligraphers bent ink, deliberate, precise, confident. Yet this chamber felt different. It felt awake. Her boots touched solid ground that didn't look solid at all, a glassy surface with shifting patterns moving beneath it like drifting constellations. Platforms floated in geometric arrangements overhead, rotating with silent purpose. Ensign Morrow stepped beside her, visor tilted upward. Commander, it's intact. Completely intact. Stay focused, Rhea said. Record everything. And don't touch anything unless I say so. The rest of the away team spread out, scanners sweeping. Their lights flicked across symbols etched into the walls. The lines pulsed faintly, as if responding to their presence. A column rose from the center of the chamber, shaped like a tapered crystal, with filaments twisting inside it. As Rhea approached, the filaments shifted, aligning with her movements. "Lumen," she said over the comm. "Can you see this from the ship?" "Affirmative," the AI replied. "The structure is generating a localized gravitational envelope. I am receiving data, but the format is unfamiliar." Rhea touched the air near the crystal. Not the surface, just the space around it. A warm vibration tingled across her glove. The crystal brightened. Symbols along the walls reoriented. The chamber hummed with low resonance. Her team stiffened, weapons instinctively raised. Mara whispered, "Commander, I think you activated it." A surge of static washed through her implant. For a moment she tasted metal. Then a voice, not spoken, not heard, but imprinted, cut through her thoughts. "Genetic key confirmed." Rhea froze. "Genetic key?" Morrow stared at her. "Commander, that sounded like it identified you." Before Rhea could respond, the floor beneath the crystal shifted. Panels separated, rearranging into a circular platform. The crystal descended into its center, locking into a new configuration. A projection formed above it, an array of shapes transforming into something almost legible. Rhea recognized the style, architect language. The galaxy's most unbreakable code. Lumen's voice sharpened. "Commander, the projection contains a partial translation key. It appears to be learning our linguistic structure." "It's adapting," Rhea murmured. "It wants us to understand." Symbols reshaped themselves into something closer to human glyphs. The projection formed a sentence, crude, jagged, but unmistakable. "Human ascension, initiated too fast." Rhea felt her pulse hammer. "This correlates with the alien warnings." Morrow swallowed hard. "Commander, do you think the architects designed us for something? Some kind of evolution? That's what we're here to figure out." A sudden tremor rippled across the chamber. The floating platforms shifted in response, aligning into a new formation. A bridge extended from the central ring toward a sealed archway on the far side. "Open passage detected," Lumen said. "It activates only when you are within 5 meters, Commander." Rhea turned slowly toward her team. "Weapons on safe. Helmets sealed. We proceed." They advanced across the drifting bridge. The archway sensed Rhea's approach and opened like a spiraling iris. Beyond it lay a long hall with walls made of translucent alloy. Faint images moved across them, not pictures, but memories. Entire civilizations rising and collapsing. Structures reshaping themselves. Beings of light drifting through impossible architecture. Morrow stepped closer to one of the walls. The image shifted, focusing on a species with elongated limbs and luminous eyes, clearly advanced, clearly powerful. Then the image changed. The species was gone. A blank void filled the wall. "Erased," Morrow whispered. "Failed," Rhea said quietly. "Whatever this threshold is, it destroyed them." They continued down the hall until they reached another chamber, smaller but denser with data streams running through the walls. A pedestal rose in the center, holding a crystalline sphere that pulsed in slow intervals. Rhea approached. The sphere activated, projecting a three-dimensional star map. Thousands of systems sparked across it, some known, others wiped from modern charts. Then a line connected them, forming a spiral that wound inward until it reached a point marked in bright white light. Human space. Another message formed. Architect designate, humanity. Purpose, continued the line. Danger, excessive acceleration detected. Limit threshold, approaching. Morrow stepped back as if struck. They made us. Rhea studied the projection, jaw tight. They shaped us. There's a difference. Commander, this matches the Vartoon warnings, Lumen said. Their fear is based on historical precedent. Species that evolved too quickly triggered catastrophic outcomes. Rhea's fingers curled at her sides. They expect us to fail the way others did. She touched the projection. It rearranged again, showing a timeline. Civilizations rose. Developed. approached a point labeled Critical Ascension. Then an explosion, white light, erased them. 30 civilizations. 30 erasures. Only one line extended beyond the threshold. Humanity's line. The projection zoomed into the threshold point. Words reshaped. Potential survival, 3%. Potential collapse, 97%. Morrow whispered. They built us to succeed. But they didn't think we actually would. Rhea forced her breath steady. They didn't understand what humans do when the odds are against them. But even she felt a cold knot in her chest. The 3% survival was not a margin, it was a warning disguised as a prophecy. The sphere dimmed, and the chamber returned to silence. Commander, Lumen said gently, we should return to the Astrius. This information must reach command immediately. Agreed. Rhea motioned for the team to regroup. We've learned enough for a report. As they retraced their steps, the hall responded, sealing doors and dimming symbols. The ruin was retreating, closing itself now that its message had been delivered. But when they reached the final chamber, the crystal rose again, projecting a final line. This time, it was clearer than before, almost perfect human text. Humans must choose their ascension. Or their extinction. The chamber went dark. Rhea stood frozen. The message carried weight, immense, personal, deliberate. Commander? Morrow asked softly. Rhea exhaled. We take this to Aurelius Prime. The Senate may ignore alien warnings, but they won't ignore the architects. She didn't say the rest aloud. They couldn't afford to. Because humanity wasn't approaching danger. Humanity was the danger. And the architects had known it all along. The Astrius emerged from the star shadow with a sharp streak of blue as its FTL wake dissolved behind it. Aurelius Prime filled the viewport, an immense sphere of pale gold clouds, orbital rings gleaming like a crown. It was the political heart of humanity, where decisions shaped entire sectors. Rhea stood on the bridge as the ship entered the Senate's restricted orbit. Her hands were steady, but tension hummed beneath her calm. Orbital control has cleared us for direct docking, Morrow reported. We've been flagged for immediate audience. Good, Rhea said. The sooner this reaches them, the better. Yet a small part of her doubted the Senate would listen. They preferred triumph to caution, expansion to restraint. Humanity had grown faster than any species in recorded history. Pride followed them like a banner. The docking clamps latched onto the ship with a metallic thud. Rhea adjusted her uniform collar. Morrow glanced at her. Commander, if they dismiss us. They won't, Rhea said, though she didn't fully believe it. She disembarked into the Senate Hall, a vast atrium filled with pale light and floating banners depicting human achievements. Portraits of explorers and inventors lined the vaulted walkways. Humanity's brilliance on full display. Too much brilliance, Rhea thought. Enough to blind them. 2 Senate guards approached and gestured her forward. Commander Solarin. The Senate awaits. Inside the chamber, hundreds of delegates occupied hovering platforms arranged around a central dais. At its center stood High Chancellor Damaris Varen, a man known for decisiveness and an unwavering belief in human potential. Commander Rhea Solarin, he announced. You claim to possess evidence of an architect-class warning. Proceed. Rhea stepped into the center. A holographic console rose before her. She uploaded everything, the lattice scans, the architect projections, the sphere's messages. The chamber dimmed as the recordings illuminated the air. Delegates whispered. Some leaned forward in fascination, others crossed their arms in skepticism. When the final message appeared, humans must choose their ascension or their extinction, the hall fell silent. Rhea spoke clearly. This is not an interpretation. This is not myth. This is architect-level communication directed specifically at humanity. Our evolution, our expansion, our velocity in technological growth, it's triggering forces older than our species. Chancellor Varen folded his hands. You believe we are in danger? I know we are, Rhea said. And we must slow our militarization and expansion until we understand what the threshold entails. A low wave of murmurs rolled through the chamber. A senator from Titan Prime rose. Commander, humanity has always surpassed limits. We've terraformed worlds once declared uninhabitable. We've crossed stellar barriers others feared. Now you propose complacency because ancient ruins claim we grow too fast? Rhea held her ground. Those ruins erase civilizations with capabilities beyond ours. We're not exceptions, we're potential victims. Another senator stood, Director Hanos of the Frontier Coalition. Or potential successors, he said. If the architects shaped us, perhaps the message is not warning but challenge. A trial. A test we're meant to surpass. That interpretation is dangerous, Rhea replied. This isn't encouragement, it's alarm. Chancellor Varen raised a hand. The architects vanished. Their structures remain inert. Their warnings, if these are warnings, come from a civilization that never stood beside humanity. Why should we curb our progress based on their fears? Rhea met his gaze. Because 30 civilizations vanished when they reached our stage. A senator scoffed. 30 lesser civilizations. We are different. Rhea's pulse tightened. That arrogance is exactly what the architects predicted. The hall stirred. Delegates shifted, divided. Varen's expression sharpened. Commander, are you proposing that we limit scientific advancement? Halt expansion? Freeze FTL colonization? I propose caution, Rhea said. Study the threshold. Slow acceleration. Survive long enough to understand the architect intention. Hanos leaned forward. Or we could seize the mantle the architects left behind. Push forward, faster than any before us. Show the galaxy what humans are designed to become. Varen nodded slowly. Director Hanos raises a valid perspective. Humanity thrives under challenge. Rhea's frustration crept into her voice. This isn't challenge. It's existential risk. Risk is part of growth, Varen said. A hush settled as the Chancellor stood. His platform drifted closer to Rhea. Commander Solarin, the Empire honors your loyalty and service. But humanity's destiny is not dictated by alien relics. We chart our own course. Rhea straightened. Chancellor, if we ignore this. We are not ignoring it, he interrupted. We will form a research committee to examine your findings. But expansion will continue. Innovation will not slow. Humanity refuses to be caged by fear or superstition. Rhea's stomach nodded. You cannot dismiss the implications. Dismiss? Varen's eyes hardened. Commander, humanity thrives because we reject the constraints that bind other species. The architects underestimated us. So do their warnings. He turned to the assembly. Humanity does not retreat. We press forward. A roar of approval swept through half the chamber. The other half remained silent, uncertain. Rhea realized she was losing them. One senator, Elias Vorn, head of the scientific directorate, stood with a measured expression. Chancellor, with respect, this requires deeper analysis. The commander uncovered a structure responding directly to her. A genetic link implies direct architect intent. Then analyze it, Varen said. But analysis does not halt the Empire's trajectory. Rhea stepped forward. You're gambling with our existence. Varen replied calmly. You are underestimating our potential. The session adjourned with a flourish of lights. The delegates dispersed, some waving data slates, others already drafting speeches. The decision was made. Humanity would not slow. Morrow caught up to Rhea outside the chamber. Commander, how did it go? Rhea inhaled through tight lungs. They heard us. They didn't listen. Morrow's face fell. So what now? We regroup, Rhea said. Others believe the danger is real. And someone needs to prepare for the consequences. Before Morrow could answer, an urgent alert pinged across Rhea's implant. Lumen's voice cracked through with sharp clarity. Commander, an FTL rupture has appeared outside Aurelius' orbit. It matches the architect lattice frequency. Rhea froze. What kind of rupture? Lumen hesitated, A rare and unsettling pause. One we have never observed before. And it is expanding. Rhea turned back toward the Senate Tower, heart pounding. The warning wasn't ancient. It was arriving. The rupture in orbit shimmered like a wound in reality. Colors unseen bled into the void, twisting the starlight. The Astrius and the Imperial fleet hovered at the edge, sensors straining to measure its magnitude. Time itself seemed distorted, seconds stretching and collapsing unpredictably. Rhea gripped the bridge console, jaw tight. Lumen status report. The rupture is expanding rapidly, the AI replied. Energy patterns correspond to architect ascension fields. Neural resonance indicates a species-wide trigger. Humans are active participants. Maro's voice trembled. Commander, it's responding to us. To all of us. Rhea's chest tightened. She had anticipated danger, but nothing like this. Then we do what the architects intended. Guide it. Control it. The human Senate's fleets had already mobilized, weapons primed. Across communications channels, commanders debated whether to attack the rupture or retreat. Rhea cut through the chatter. No attacks. Any aggression could destabilize the field. We must stabilize it before it consumes human space entirely. Stabilize? Maro asked. How do we stabilize a goddamn rupture in reality? Rhea didn't answer. She didn't have a conventional answer. She had a plan born from the ruins and the architect messages. Connect, not control. Participate, not dominate. Deploy the neural interface arrays, she ordered. Synchronize them with every volunteer aboard the fleet. We need human consciousness to resonate in harmony with the threshold. The procedure was unprecedented. Thousands of crew members across hundreds of ships linked through quantum neural arrays, their thoughts entwining into a single directive: stabilize the field without panic, without fear. Rhea felt herself drawn into the network. Thoughts of every linked human flooded her mind: curiosity, courage, stubbornness, defiance. She understood, finally, why the architects had chosen this species. Humans did not just adapt, they persisted. Against impossible odds, they persevered. Suddenly, the rupture pulsed violently. The fleet rocked. Space itself screamed. Reports flooded in, ships folding in on themselves, energy distortions tearing apart unshielded hulls. Corvin's face appeared on every comm channel, ghostly and strained. Commander Solarin! You will destroy yourselves! Leave the threshold alone! I cannot, Rhea replied. Not if we want to survive. Humanity does not run from what it must face. The Archseer's expression flickered: shock, fear, awe. You might succeed. In the rupture's heart, Rhea could see it, the Ascension Core, a lattice of impossible geometry, pulsating with energy beyond comprehension. It beckoned. She knew what she had to do: enter it personally to guide the resonance. Prepare a small strike craft, she said. I'm going in. Maro protested. Commander, this isn't survivable. Nothing worth doing ever is, Rhea replied. Her voice was calm, resolute. Get me inside, now. The craft detached, slipping toward the shifting lattice. Light tore across the viewport, bending, refracting, multiplying. Inside, Rhea felt the field press against her consciousness. Memories of the architects, of civilizations lost, of the warnings, they all collided. Her mind screamed, but she steadied it. Focus. Purpose. Humanity. The core pulsed, recognizing her, responding to her intent. Neural interfaces synchronized with her thoughts. Streams of possibility unfolded: collapse, survival, evolution. Rhea channeled willpower into the pattern, guiding energy, shaping it like a sculptor molding molten stone. Outside, fleets held formation, resisting the urge to flee. The field stabilized incrementally, responding to human intent. Ships that had faltered found equilibrium. The rupture's chaotic colors began to settle into ordered fractals, spinning in perfect harmony. Corvin's voice returned. It's balancing. How is this possible? Rhea's lips curved into the first genuine smile in hours. Because humans adapt. Humans persevere. We do not abandon what we start. The lattice contracted slightly, forming a singular axis. Ria's craft drifted into it, not resisting, not conquering, entering. Inside, time unraveled, dimensions folded. She glimpsed the architect's intentions, tests, calibrations, calculations designed to push species to the brink. She understood the missing link: species that collapsed lacked will. Humans had it in abundance. She projected calm, determination, empathy, channeling collective human consciousness. The core pulsed in acknowledgement. Energy surged, not destructive, but elevating. Neural interfaces across the fleet synchronized, their operators feeling clarity, strength, a unity that transcended fear. Suddenly, a wave of light and sound rolled outward. Ships rocked, alarms screamed, but it was no longer destructive, it was awakening. Humanity began to ascend, not fully, but partially. Perception expanded. Senses sharpened. Minds opened to dimensions once unimaginable. Corvin's expression softened. Reverence edged his fear. They survived the threshold. Controlled it. Guided it. Ria's voice carried across the comms, calm and steady. We are still human. Stronger, aware, but still ourselves. The threshold did not destroy us, it elevated us. The rupture shrank, folding into itself, leaving no trace. The lattice dispersed. Space returned to normal. Yet the fleet, Aurelius Prime, the solar systems, everything had changed. Humanity had passed the ascension threshold safely, becoming the first species to do so since the architects. In the aftermath, Chancellor Varen approached Ria aboard the flagship. You've done the impossible, he said, voice heavy with awe. Humanity has survived what no one thought we could. Ria met his gaze. We did not survive because of luck or caution. We survived because humans adapt, because we endure, because we rise when others would falter. The Chancellor nodded slowly. Perhaps the galaxy needs to recognize that now. Far across the stars, alien fleets withdrew. Corvin stood on his command bridge, silent, studying the humans' controlled ascension. The Vartoon had feared destruction. Instead, they witnessed triumph, an HFY moment they could not ignore. Ria turned to the viewport, staring at Aurelius Prime. Lights glimmered across its rings, a symbol of human resilience. She allowed herself a moment of quiet pride. They had faced annihilation, cosmic forces beyond comprehension, and emerged intact. Morrow approached, still absorbing the magnitude. Commander, what now? Ria's gaze remained fixed on the city. Now we build. Learn. Explore. We've crossed the threshold, but the galaxy is just beginning to see what humans can do. The stars outside shimmered in response, not in warning, not in threat, but in acknowledgement. Humanity had exceeded limits once thought impassable. And they had done it not through arrogance or conquest, but through courage, unity, and indomitable will. The Astrius turned toward new horizons. Humanity's ascension was only the beginning. A new era had begun, one shaped by human hands, human hearts, and human determination. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy recognized a truth the architects had anticipated but never seen realized. Humans rise. Humans endure. Humans prevail. And so, the era of human-led ascended civilization began.